Marvel Snap's newest card, Cull Obsidian, released with a lot of hype. I'm here to help you figure out whether he's worth the hype. Cull Obsidian is a 410 with the text that says you can only play this where there is a 1-cost card. Now, this does mean that you can play a 1-cost card and Cull Obsidian on the same turn on the same location, so this restriction is actually fairly minimal. The real question is a 410 good? And if so, how good and how much is it worth spending your hard-earned 6,000 tokens on? Many people may not be aware of this, but Cull was originally data mined as a Series 4 card and was moved into Series 5 later. This, of course, is a little bit hurtful to anyone who wants to pick him up with tokens. 3,000 tokens is much more affordable than the 6,000 for Cull. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive into the decks he goes in. Cull is absolutely 100% an upgrade in Thanos. Any deck that's playing Skaar is going to be interested in Cull, but he is very clearly an excellent card in Thanos. This is still my Cull Thanos build. I personally believe that Cull Thanos is probably the best deck in the game, so there is some legitimate upside in saying, I'm going to get Cull and going to play the best deck in the game, and he is part of what makes it the best deck in the game. It may be a little bit of a marginal effect, Thanos is good without Cull, but he definitely is what pushes it over the edge to being, in my opinion, actually the best deck in the game. His ability to accelerate out Skaars, to be an enormous guy, to have another nut draw in your Thanos deck with Timestone and Skaar is a really big deal. Of course, just being a playable card that is big, that you play alongside Lockjaw, is also phenomenal. He's a very clear upgrade in the Thanos deck. For more, you can check out my video on Thanos. I will link it in the description. I went and did a pretty good deep dive on Thanos Cull specifically, but I do think before we talk about where Cull might be a little bit lacking, we should be clear and say that his top end usefulness right now in Thanos Lockjaw is extremely high. He is the card that takes it from one of the best decks to the best deck, in my humble opinion. Here's where things get weird. Cull Bounce has been everywhere as well, and while I think Cull Bounce is good, because I think the bounce stuff is good, the question of whether Cull is an upgrade is an unfortunately unanswered one. Personally, I think he is a bit of a side grade. Anytime someone comes up to me and asks, what can I replace Cull with here? The answer is very clearly Enchantress. Now, I do think that there is some argument for Cull being a little bit better, but this is not a Thanos situation where he makes the deck infinitely stronger. This is a situation where he looks, based on the numbers and based on how I felt playing the deck, to be a bit of a side grade rather than a pure upgrade. What you see on the screen right now are the top decks with Beast and Falcon post-release of Cull Obsidian. Now, you'll notice that the top one does actually have Cull Obsidian in it. It is the classic build of the deck with just Cull Obsidian inserted for Enchantress. You'll notice also that the cube rate is very high, which I believe would be expected from a deck playing a new card, as cube rate is often dependent on surprise. In second place, we have the traditional bounce list with just Enchantress. It's got a lower win rate and a lower cube rate, but again, I would expect the cube rate of the first list to go down as more people realize that Cull Obsidian is actually a card they're going to be running into. Now, in third place, we have the version that drops Iceman instead of Enchantress and looks to keep running 5 4-drops alongside Zabu. This one seems to be the worst of all, where a case where including Cull Obsidian and making the wrong cut for it costs you not only in terms of cube rate, but also significantly in terms of win rate. So, what does this mean for our boy Cull Obsidian? It means that while in Thanos he is a significant upgrade, in those other decks, he is really not moving the needle. My heuristic for whether you should buy Cull Obsidian is twofold. First of all, there are some other Skaar decks that are fairly compelling with Cull Obsidian. Like, for example, people have been playing, Atuma, Sentry, Cosmo type Skaar decks. And those decks are actually relatively compelling if, mostly not played too much at the high level. They are a legitimate use case for this card. I just don't know if they're the kind of legitimate use case people come to my channel looking for. There are probably other channels that are better suited to tell you about that one. As far as the card itself goes, it seems like it's only gone into 2 decks at the highest level. Thanos, where it is excellent, and Bounce, where it is not. And so the real question for you is, are you going to play Thanos? Do you want to pick up Cull Obsidian to play Thanos Lockjaw? Because otherwise, I think this card is getting significantly overrated. I keep hearing a lot of people talking about how this is a must-buy, an excellent cache to open. And it is an excellent cache to open because Thanos is in the cache with him. Cull Obsidian is a 3-star card that becomes a 4.5-star card in Thanos. And outside of that context, this card is legitimately not going to be exciting for you. So, are you a Thanos gamer? Play Cull Obsidian. Pick him up. You want to play what I think is the best deck in the game? Pick up Cull Obsidian. But I got a lot of comments on that deck saying, wow, this is a luxury deck. And it is. It's an expensive-ass deck. And I think that if you, for example, you don't have Skaar, or you don't have Blob, or you don't have any of the other cards that go in the deck, probably most of them are going to be more important than Cull Obsidian. I think that generally my heuristic number 1 is, are you going to play Thanos Lockjaw and do you have the other cards to play it? Heuristic number 2 is, do you really like playing Skaar? Because Cull Obsidian's number 1 synergy is with Skaar. So what's the verdict? I would say that Cull Obsidian, if I had to give it a star rating, I would give Cull Obsidian 3 stars. However, in the context of Thanos, I would give him probably 4 to 4.5 stars. If you are going to buy him, you should do so knowing that going in. This is not a card that is going to be a widely played card. This is not Jeff. This is not even a card that is going to create its own archetype. This is not a Nihilus. This is a support card for Thanos and Skaar. That's what it does. It does not do anything else, but it is very good at doing that thing. So, for the record, I do consider it better than Supergiant and better than Black Swan. I expect it to be better than Corvus Glaive, and we'll have to see about Proxima Midnight, but personally, I expect it to be better than that as well. Much of that, however, is dependent on the fact that it has an easy home in Thanos, and if anything about that changes, Lockjaw nerf, Skaar nerf, God only knows, this is not a card that is going to have easy homes. I think he is a card you can very easily miss unless you are specifically going to play Thanos Lockjaw. Thank you so much for watching. I've been KM Best. You've been phenomenal. I'll put a little bit of Cull Bounce gameplay on the end of this because I think you already saw a lot of Cull Thanos gameplay on my previous video. So I'll put some Cull Bounce gameplay on the end of this so you can just watch him in action. He's not bad, but when there's an expensive card that comes out, you need to judge it by the standards of replaceability. In Thanos, he's irreplaceable. Genuinely, I think he is. He's the best in slot. In basically every other deck, extremely replaceable. Extremely, extremely replaceable. Only pick him up if you're okay with that. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the footage. You've been phenomenal. Necessarily always happening. And I think that for that reason, it's important to keep a level head. I mean, there's no way he has a Lyeth, right? Holy shit, this is... Oh! Oh, what the fuck? We win anyway on the tiebreaker. But what the fuck? That's actually such a heads-up play. We win the tiebreaker anyway because we just had too much big shit. If that's too much for you to beat. Whether or not that's true, I suppose we'll find out. Yeah, and Shang on his own also, yes, does not even win. I want to turn that off. It lets them get shit that's a little too easy. They get some shit that's a little too easy here. I'm very much telegraphing my Annihilus here. It's like the world's most obvious Annihilus. It honestly does not get more obvious than this Annihilus. Like, there are obvious plays, and then there's this, right? Like, this is... It does not get more obvious. Snap me. Okay. That was a turn 6 snap. I'm trying to remember what happened. I don't remember what happened. I'm sorry. Does this guy have blue marble? I feel like this is a very plausible blue marble. And the question is it blue marble or is it, So I can play around blue marble or I can play around a big guy. I don't know which one I'm supposed to do. Chad, what do you think? Do I play around blue marble or do I play around blob? I went for Blarble. I went to play around Blarble. That was my thought process, Abra. It's more likely to happen if there's a Profex, right? Ergo, I played around that one instead. It's like the kind of thing you would do. It's like a high cube equity play. It's the kind of play you'd make. Scary. Ooh! That Soul Stone is great for me. That soulstone is great for me. Holy. That's real nice. Ooh. Yo, thank you, Wash in the Wind. I really appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna put the snipe block up. I'm glad you enjoyed it so much, Wash, and I really appreciate that 420. Thank you so much. Holy shit. What a heads up Soulstone play, honestly. I mean, they're losing, but that is such a heads up play. That is literally, that's primo. That's an unbelievably smart Soulstone play. Ooh. Man. I mean, you just got to give him that one. Like, that is so clever. Are you happy because you're unbothered or happy because you're moisturized? Either or, you know? Miss Marvel? Oh, wait, no. We fucked up the Miss Marvel on the right lane. I thought about that. We beat Miss Marvel with that. I'm a genius. I always knew. You guys don't have shit, just want to talk trash and say no? Give me a better joke, you naysayers? Holy shit. Space Wax is letting a naysayer know. That would be my understanding. Yep, I'm on TV. If they don't leave here, it's because they have Space Stone? No, just Jeff? Okay. I need like a Beast or a Falcon, and I'm in a good spot. Yay. Ah, I see. Okay. That's definitely scary. Did I win? I feel like I won. Woo! Reads. Reads. I was kicking things around and thinking there's a couple ways I lose here. And they can move the time stone out with the space stone and then move Jeff over here, right? And that specific play is what caused me to just not even try about the middle. Although, to be fair, if I just gone like, you know, Sentry here, two dudes here, it would have still worked.